Whether you love them or hate them, they are classic and iconic. In today's video, we're going to be doing a what if on if the Disney villains played Cardfight Vanguard. What's up, card fighters, and welcome back to the Prime Vanguard channel. Now, before I can get into today's video, I have to get through my quick disclaimer. If you enjoy seeing content such as this, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you guys are always up to date on my newest videos coming out. Now, today's video is going to be an interesting what if, as we are not going to be looking at any anime characters or any other TCG characters, but we're going to be looking at Disney villain characters. Now, for those of you that do not know me personally outside of Vanguard, I like Disney and Pixar movies. I grew up on them. I've watched the VHS. My grandparents used to have one. Like, I just know these characters by heart, and I know their names and I know what they stand for. And I thought it'd be pretty interesting to incorporate two entirely different universes into one by taking two things that I really love and enjoy and just bringing them together. Taking these iconic villains and characters, I'm going to be looking at their color palettes, their behaviors, and what sort of themes they might have that will help me figure out which sort of deck, clan, or nation would be best for them for Cardfight Vanguard if they were to play. Now, I personally can't wait to hop right into this video, guys. I know you are too, so let's go ahead and get started.
Anita, darling. More good women have been lost to marriage and to war, famine, disease, and disaster. You have talent, darling. Don't squander it. Sit.
Get on with it, you
Imbecile.
Pleasure, Mr. Vill.
What's a pleasure?
Making your acquaintance.
Such a sweet thought. I wish I could reciprocate.
Cruella de Vil is one of the most iconic Disney villains, being known for her sassy attitude, her bad manners, and her going insane scenes. She's a very powerful fashionista who has the goal of taking the 101 Dalmatians and turning them into an exclusive line of fur coats. She's a middle-aged woman with beautiful green eyes, black and white hair. She always carries around her black and white fur coat. She wears a black dress with red bottoms, and her color palette has stayed consistent throughout the years. She has her two subordinates that she always carries around her, as well as a line of employees ready to work for her that she commands mercilessly. For Cruella, we're definitely going to be needing a deck that has a female unit as its leader, who has subordinates and who has a controlling playstyle. As I don't think Cruella is in for any shenanigans that her opponent has. She wants to use her overwhelming power and intimidating force to take advantage of them and control them to get what she wants. And after watching the most recent live action and really sitting there and thinking about it, I think the decision is actually going to surprise many people. So for Cruella de Vil, I chose Evil Governor Dark-Faced Ghidorah as her Vanguard. You guys might be like, whoa, how are you going to choose Ghidorah? That's so, like, out there. But allow me to explain. Ghidorah is a queen. She has subordinates, she's bossy, and even when she made her anime debut herself, she is a very passive but controlling character. While the total opposite of Cruella in terms of leadership, both of these characters are two extremely powerful female units within their respective lores. Ghidorah's color palette, themes, and look I actually think fits Cruella very well. She's a queen, she has hints of red, white, green to match her beautiful green eyes, and she also has the black aesthetic to her as well. Her subordinate characters such as Darkface and the other mutant cards that follow her will support her own personal control playstyle using Cradle. Like a queen, Ghidorah takes advantage of the battlefield using the Cradle marker, and I think this is something Cruella will enjoy a lot. Cruella is a sadist. She gets pleasure watching other people suffer as long as it's for her own benefit, and Cradle is just that. Having your opponent lose out on their own units so that you can get more cards back is something I definitely see Cruella enjoy doing throughout her games. Cruella playing a control deck is definitely something I see her doing, taking advantage of Ghidorah's control matchup in the Protect clan as well, with the benefits of Protect 1 or Protect 2. She's going to take advantage of Ghidorah's overwhelming power and demolish her opponents with it. So I think Ghidorah and Cruella is ironically a match made in heaven. Plus, if you saw Cruella the movie, you know, the bug dress scene, yeah, remember that.
Hello, Regina.
You're real?
Next time you claim to be me, you'll find out just how real I am. Don't ever do that again.
Ursula is the iconic deep-sea witch from The Little Mermaid. She's the one who gave Ariel the contract of taking away her voice so that she can walk on land and have a life. Ursula's color palette is very simple, as it's just black, red, and a hint of purple, but for her outlandish performance, her outlandish behavior is what makes her stand out. Her power of contracts and overwhelming Trident and Ariel in the final scenes of The Little Mermaid is what makes her so well known and so iconic. Ursula being a deep sea creature made it very simple for me to find who her Vanguard is going to be, as it's going to be a character either from Bermuda Triangle or Grand Blue. You're probably wondering why I say Bermuda Triangle, but think of it like this. Ursula gets her benefits and her powers from making contracts with people to take advantage of them. So think about it like this. You have a mermaid character who Ursula has under her control because of their contracts. So it actually makes a lot of sense when you think about Ursula playing a mermaid deck, because she already took control of one little mermaid, such as Ariel herself. I couldn't find any red-haired mermaid vanguards. I mean, the closest thing I could find were some pink ones. Ange was an option I was thinking about, but after looking at Ange, I had to go look at Grand Blue, and I think I found the choice that I liked the best. Now, there is Night Rose, Beatrice, and Cocytus, but one that actually was pretty right in my face and I almost forgot about was Demonic King of the Seas, Bazkirk. Bazkirk and Ursula share a lot of characteristics, being tentacle, squid-like, or octopus-like characters. They have the purple, the red, the black. These two characters look a lot alike, respectively, in the sense of their color palettes. Bazkirk is also part of the Grand Blue clan, which focuses on the deep sea witches, the necromancers, the darker side of the ocean creatures that I definitely see Ursula surrounding herself with, like she does in the cartoon. Taking advantage and having access to her deep sea subordinates, as well as the card itself being a king, fits her personality very well, as she'll be able to get any piece that she needs from her drop zone to utilize and control the match through any point in time that she wants. Plus, being a Protect clan fits her very well, as she's always able to defend herself with her dark magic and the dark powers that Bazkirk will bestow upon her as her Vanguard. This matchup is a little bit more debatable, so I'm very curious to hear your guys' opinions down in the comment section below. Do you think I should have gone the Bermuda Triangle route with Ursula, or do you like the Grand Blue route that I chose?
Everything, down to the last minute details.
Lady Tremaine is the infamous evil stepmother from the Cinderella story. You can't know Cinderella without knowing Tremaine. She is the cold, decisive, and impolite stepmother of Cinderella throughout the story, making her life a living hell while raising her two daughters to rise to greatness and marry into royalty. Tremaine doesn't show a lot of personality, but when she does, it's never in a good light. It's either discrediting her own daughters, disrespecting Cinderella, or showing some sort of narcissistic behavior so that she can achieve her goals and her dreams through her daughters. Her only friend, or her only companion, is her cat Lucifer, who we see carry her a lot, and they share a lot of characteristics as well, with their very powerful green eyes, the grays, the blacks, and Tremaine having the very distinguished red color that separates her from all the other characters is something very important to her design. Finding a Vanguard for her was very difficult, as like I said, Tremaine doesn't show a lot of personality, and when she does, it's never in a good way. So I definitely wanted a Vanguard for her that shows and portrays negative emotions, but also would either A, fit her color palette, or maybe fit sort of her other personality traits that I could catch on to. And ironically, I got the idea from rewatching the Cinderella cartoon, and ironically, I got the idea from buying the Lucifer Funko Pop, the Tremaine Funko Pop, when doing research for this video. And I think my decision will surprise you. Lady Tremaine's Vanguard is none other than School Hunter Leopold. This one was definitely a wild one, but allow me to explain this one because I have no choice to. School Hunter Leopold and Lady Tremaine are ironically a really good match for each other. Leopold has hints of red into him, but his character design is what sold it for me. Tremaine loves cats. Her best companion and her only friend throughout the show is a cat named Lucifer, of all things. Leopold is a lion, or lion, jaguar, cheetah, hybrid thingy that I don't really know. But either way, he's a very powerful and scary looking cat. This card also plays into Tremaine's two-faced nature of in the public, she's very well established, people like her, she's beautiful looking, and she cares about what the public thinks about her. But not in the public, she's cold, relentless, and evil. And Leopold just does that. Having his dark counterpart being Leopold reverse and having regular Leopold, Tremaine in a regular matchup could switch up. She can stick on the Leopold, rely on the rewriting abilities of him on top of Great Nature's other units, as these are animals we're talking about who have their cuddly side, but they also have their darker side. Being able to take advantage of those cards and take advantage of Leopold Reverse shows the darker nature of Tremaine, the character itself, as when Tremaine was challenged, she had no choice but to show who her true characteristic was towards the end of the Cinderella story. I really like this, and I actually think that this is very fitting, as a cat being Tremaine's best friend and the main weapon to achieve her goals and victory makes perfect sense for her.
What do they call you?
Aladdin.
Aladdin. People like us must be realistic. Eh?
Us.
You see, I was once like you. A common thief. Only I thought bigger. Steal an apple and you're a thief. Steal a kingdom and you're a statesman. Only weak men stop there. Either the most powerful man in the room or you're nothing. You stumbled upon an opportunity. I can make you rich. Rich enough to impress a princess. But nothing comes for free.
Well, what can I say? Accidents will happen.
Now, Jafar is a classic one. Everyone knows Jafar. If not from the most recent Aladdin movie from the cartoon, he's probably one of the most distinguishable Disney villains out there. Being the dark sorcerer slash seer of Agrabah from the Aladdin story, Jafar has, like I said, the most dynamic color palette compared to everyone else. He has black, very powerful looking reds, gold, orange, yellow, and his scepter as well as his eye color is what makes him very distinguished from the other characters. He is long, tall, and skinny, and he is a very powerful character despite looking so weak in his human form. When entering his genie form, he had the power of thunder, fire. He also has the strength of his scepter that comes to life. Jafar loves his snakes and he loves the power of thunder and fire. So naturally I had to look towards Kagero Narukami to help me find a Vanguard for him. I went directly to Narukami because I automatically thought of the critical trigger Jin, and I figured I would find more Jin supporting cards that would help me get a deck built for him. Unfortunately, I had no such luck. Came same thing to the other cards as well. I didn't have much luck with them either, as I don't think a dragon ironically would fit him very much well. Jafar loves his magic. I think either a magical character or dark sorceress looking type character work for him as well. I didn't find that either, and I didn't find what I was looking for in Narukami. So I went to Kagero. And Kagero was a weird choice, but I definitely found something that I think works out very well for him. With the combinations of his color palette as well as his other cards actually look very like him a lot, as sharing a lot of similarities to him as well. The one Vanguard I found for him that is a questionable matchup, but a pair I personally like and want to see more of, is Dragon Knight Alif and Jafar. Dragon Knight Alif and Jafar, right off the bat, share a lot of characteristics. The orange, the yellow, the dark reds, the blacks, and the very demonic and evil looking presence and sinister looking presence that they share is there. You can easily see it in Alif's artwork and in his face, and the same thing with Jafar, like having such a mischievous look to him. Embodiment of Victory Alif also requires the cards Bar, Tar, Ion, and we have access to Demonic Dragon Berserker Rakshasa, who ironically literally looks exactly like Jafar. We also have cards like Dragonmon Genjo that play more into the ethnic characteristics of Jafar. I'm not entirely sure what he is ethnically speaking, that's not a battle I want to get into, but I will say that these are cards that absolutely look like him and can relate to him in his characteristic or his art form. Like I said, Jafar is a very mischievous character. He does things in the dark to get what he wants, and a deck like this does that as well. You could be surprised and sneaked up if Jafar has the pieces set up for him to get his superior ride, which will allow him to achieve early game aggression, as well as get extra power, as this is a force deck that will work very well for him. Getting more power onto his Vanguard circle so that he can achieve the ultimate skill of doing the Counter Blast 3D at 15k plus 1 critical plus 1 drive, and getting all of that back with the benefits of other skill to set up for the next turn. I definitely like these two together. I understand it's a questionable pair because there are some things in our economy that I could have taken away from, but I really like this. It incorporates the aspects of them very well, and they also look like each other in terms of color palette wise, so I'm a huge fan of this pair. And this would not be a Disney villain video if I did not save the best for last. So here we are, I present to you Lady Maleficent.
Well, well.
I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
Maleficent is the evil fairy of the Sleeping Beauty storyline, a cursed fairy named Maleficent who was betrayed by the kingdom in front of her that was against her fairyland, stole her wings, and she sought revenge. Coming to the birth of the king's daughter Aurora, Maleficent placed a curse on her that on her 16th birthday, her finger would prick a spinning wheel and she would only be able to be released by true love's first kiss. We never see too much of Maleficent as a character in the cartoon, except the fact that she is an evil brute and a very powerful dark witch that has access to an amazing dragon form to get what she wants, to obtain the power of darkness and overrule the humans as she sees fit. It wasn't until then later that we got the Angelina Jolie Maleficent movies in both that we see more of her characteristics and more of her personality. I'm glad they did this because it made this video so much easier. Maleficent's color palette is very simple. It is black, purple, and green and gold, and it has stayed that way consistently. But for her, I already knew what I wanted. For this deck, it had to be Shadow Paladins. It's the forces of darkness and the forces of evil that she wants control of, and Shadow Paladin screams this best. Dark Irregulars was a close second, but I couldn't find any Dragon Vanguard Dark Irregulars that I knew about. They were all either fiendish witches or sorcerers, but it was a close second. The one that I went to directly was Phantom Blaster Dragon. I mean, come on, I have them both on screen together and they practically look alike. This could entirely be her dragon form, even if you took it away from Vanguard and I wouldn't notice it. Phantom Blaster Dragon's playstyle as well is very powerful and direct. Having the ability to deal your opponent damage from a skill, as well as having a very terrifying skill such as getting 15,000 power plus 1 critical, retiring rear guard, retiring your own units, and being a part of a Force Clan too. Very powerful and very brutish skill. She wants to get more power by any means necessary so that she can crush her opponent with overwhelming force. I'm a huge fan of this. I actually think this fits her personality very well. As you can see in the cartoon that she doesn't care about treating her forces with any respect, so I can see her calling out her weakest units and then keeping her most powerful units in the front row to demolish her opponent with overwhelming force. She's trying to play a fast game and defeat her opponent as soon as possible, so I definitely think that that's something we should be aware of when it comes to talking about Maleficent. This what if was an interesting one, as we got to dive into something that's entirely different from what we're used to. We're not diving into anime or other TCGs, we're diving into Disney characters, old iconic characters that have unique personalities that separate each one of them and allows us to make difficult decisions when choosing their vanguards for them. I actually enjoy doing content like this and doing a video like this, as this made me think about what I have to say, what I have to look up into, so that we can create a great video such as this. But you guys tell me how you think about this video. Do you enjoy seeing Disney villains play Cardfight Vanguard and the decks that I chose for them? Or do you think that there's other anime characters or cartoon characters you guys want me to take a look at into for my What If series? I'm very curious to hear your thoughts down below, especially on the deck choices I chose for these characters. Without further ado, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and take off. Y'all have a great night and keep card fighting. Peace.